I have 4 of these SB17s going into the Techthusiasm home theater, and I already put the first 3 in, so we're going to do the recorded video, the edited unboxing and first look, hot take, and all of that on the last one right here. So the SB17 announced at CEDIA 2024. We're in early 2025 here as I'm making this upgrade and opening the subwoofer up. Sealed subwoofer, 17-inch driver, 2800 RMS watt amplifier, 6000 watt peak. So let's get this thing open, talk about how we get into the box here. Now this did ship palleted. I got 4 of them in one order essentially. They all came on one single pallet. I like their packaging. I like their packaging from the SB16, and the SB17 kind of continues that tradition for sure. Handles on the box, 2 handles on 2 sides, making it very easy to carry this, move it around as you need to with a partner. To open it up, we're going to open up both sides and do a little extrusion, subwoofer extrusion. Just got to cut 3 sides. I'll myself here. I've been really pleased having the SB16s in my setup for about a year or so now, and cool to have the new model. Sit down, put my feet to work, and push the subwoofer right out that other side. Nice packaging overall here. Not much in the way of accessories and whatnot. We do of course have a nice beefy power cord, and we have some documentation. That's all in our top level of foam. We do have the grill. This is the new grill. So gone is the metal grill from the SB16, and instead we have, I would say, more of a traditional type of subwoofer speaker grill. Plastic frame, feels like, with some fabric covering, and the SVS logo there down in the bottom center. Set that aside. So the subwoofer is double bagged. You got a plastic exterior bag, a couple more pieces of foam, plastic exterior bag, and then a cloth interior bag. Now I did opt for the black oak this time. I had the piano black gloss for my SB16s, but I figured, hey, let's try something different, maybe a little less reflective from the subwoofers that are in the front of the room. All right, here we are. We'll take a look in here. So there's our front face. Again, 4 holes here for the grill to attach. It just has basically simple pegs. Line it up and push it in all the way, and all 4 pegs, and you're good to go. Big old driver there, 17-inch driver. I'm very eager to see some of the performance difference, both in terms of if there's any actual measurement difference, as well as I think what a lot of people are reporting out of the SB17 is quite a more impactful, like mid-bass presence, mid-bass thump. One other thing to note that we didn't find on the front anymore is the display. So the LED display is gone from as it was on the front of the SB16. Instead, we do have a mini display here on the back with some minor controls here, up, down, and then like another enter button. A variety of inputs, trigger input, IR input. We have line level inputs and outputs, and we have balanced inputs and output, pair of those. Power connection there, and of course our power switch. Still looking at about a 20-inch cube. Fits perfect in my room. The one reason I very much like sealed subs versus ported is the size and the height. Fits quite a lot better in my space. I had plenty of headroom with the SB16s. I expect that to be the case with the 17 as well. I can confirm as well, I do have the SVS isolation feed. I was using these with the SB16s, took them off the SB16s, and I have been able to screw these in place of the feet on the SB17 as well, so that's great. No need to buy a new set of accessories. You can use your existing isolation feet if you have them. And that's the kind of lift that we get when the subwoofer is sitting on the isolation feet. I like the look. Definitely easier to lift, get underneath it, move it around and whatnot. Let's take a look at the app control for the SB17-Ultra subwoofers. I have it launched here. Now, one of the nice things about the app is we can independently access and configure and set settings for each individual subwoofer in the room. So if I hit my pull down here, I've already done a rename on these. I'll show how to do that in the app. But we can see here I have the ability to select my front right, front left, rear left, and rear right. That's basically just my naming convention about how I manage them in the setup. And the home screen here gives us the ability to change the subwoofer volume, very important when you're doing your audio calibrations, as well as manually select one of the existing presets. We'll talk more about that in a future screen. And it also has a quick jump here to get to the other sections of the UI. That is also the same as pressing the 3-bar button in the upper right-hand corner and having the little flyout come in and be able to jump back and forth between the different app screens there. I'm going to use the bars in the corner to do my app navigation here. So if we go down the upper right-hand options here, the first major setting page is the low-pass filter settings. Now you'll notice that I'm not actually using app control or the setting control in the subwoofers. That's because, at least for now, I'm basically just letting Arc Genesis do all of my subwoofer calibration for all 4 of the subwoofers. So I'm not using a low-pass filter, but you have the option to do that and affect a specified slope. Third screen allows us to adjust the phase, set to 0 here. Again, I do the phase adjustment in Anthem Arc Genesis. Same for polarity, positive or negative. Very easy to understand options, very simple to use in the app here as well. Now, one of the upgrades for the SB17 is that we actually have 6 PEQ points. So you can enable any of the individual 6 points and then set frequency boost and the Q factor. We also have options to set room gain compensation and set some values for that. And then next after that we have presets. So there are a couple of different configured presets, movie music, as well as a custom and a default. Now, I'm not using any of the specific presets, but if you wanted to set up different configurations manually and such, you can do that. We can see in the bottom right-hand corner as well, there is an option to save configuration options and settings. Basically save them to a preset and select what you may like to use there. And then finally, system settings. I mentioned changing the representation of the subwoofers in the names. That's how we do that at the top there. We can also control the power mode to either be auto standby, always on, or operate off of the trigger, which is very nice. So I found auto standby to work with these so far very reliably. No issues with them not turning on when I want them to be on. And then of course, they do turn off reliably on their own after a period of time as well. A couple other informational things here. And notice this is how we also access the reset to factory settings. If for some reason you were sending one of these off, trading it out, or upgrading to something else. A couple other options in the app give you the ability to get to SVS support with a bunch of different methodologies to contact SVS directly there. And then there is some tutorial information here allowing basically to give information about different aspects and settings of the app. I think this is really cool that you can go through. You want to understand a page better. You want to understand the settings, what it's doing, whether you may want to use these settings or not. Check out the tutorial information. I think that's very useful. Now, I think it's also worth noting that the app is also the methodology by which the firmware of the subwoofers can be updated. I love firmware updatable devices, field updatable devices, and I love the fact that the firmware updates are applied through the app rather than having to download a file in some archaic way to a USB stick or something and plug something in to the back of the subwoofer. For these, basically you just use the app and you're good to go. Now, I'm not able to find a specific location now that I've already done an update to indicate what version I'm using, but what happened was the last time I came in here, actually when I came in here to film this exact video, I think I was on version 5.0.4 and there was an update to 5.0.10. For all of the subs. And as I accessed each individual sub, right at the top, a new banner essentially was shown above where it says home and volume. It says, hey, there's a firmware update available for your subwoofer. Would you like to apply it? Just basically hit yes. And then it essentially tells you, take your phone, set it on top of the subwoofer, leave it there until the update is complete. And I think I updated all 4 subs in probably 10 to 12 minutes, walking to each one, doing each one individually. It would have been nice if there was a way to say update all subs in my system to the most recent firmware, but whatever. Doing them one by one was no challenge and no problem. And again, it took literally just a couple of minutes each. It put the sub in an update mode, finished the update, and you could hear it kind of clicking on and off. After that, gave it, I think, a reboot or another restart at the end, and came right back up. No problem, reconnected automatically, super easy, super efficient, and very, very simple to do. So I would recommend then, based on that every once in a while, perhaps it's probably worthwhile if you're not accessing the app control or the app interface for your SVS subwoofers regularly, hey, once a month, pull up the app, connect to the subwoofer, and see if a new update is coming. Again, I'm a big fan of updates. Can't argue with that. You got to like being able to deploy fixes, software fixes. These are heavily like DSP and processing based, right? There's a lot of electronics and stuff going on in there, controls and algorithms and different things. So it's great to be able to update that. And of course, firmware, both the ability to update the subwoofer and updates to the app itself is how we get new features. So just some final thoughts here. You can see I'm wearing a different shirt than at the start of this video. There was a pretty big lag actually between getting the subwoofers, initially getting them installed, unboxing them, and getting everything set up, and now kind of basically finishing this video, finishing this first take and reflection. And in that period of time, we've been able to watch a pretty good number of movies down in the theater here. I've been able to demo these subwoofers, have some other folks over to listen to them, and I give them absolutely fantastically 2 thumbs up. I do feel in many ways that the 17 is an upgrade to the 16s, and I have been able to talk with the folks at SVS on a few different occasions about some of the design and engineering improvements and such that went into these. I like what I heard, suffice to say. I think there's a high degree of design intent, of engineering acumen, definitely taking things that were learned from the accumulation of all of the products that SVS has built and applying them to what they've done in the 17s. I think these things are beasts. I think they do rumble and present themselves certainly stronger than the 16s did. I like having the latest, greatest. I especially like having the latest engineered, the new electronics, and I'm very excited to see what they do with these things going forward, what type of extra features and capabilities and all of that may be added to them as we go along. The prior generation had a pretty long life cycle in terms of electronics years. And so for me, whenever I see products like that, that's another indication to me that when the new one comes out, I do want to jump on it right away because I have a good feeling that it's going to have a nice long lifespan of capability and support and features and upgrades and whatnot. And I would like to be able to take advantage of that through the life cycle of the product. Now, as I'm talking here, I will overlay some screenshots essentially from Arc Genesis showing the measured in-room response of the subwoofers, all 4 of them from all 4 positions, as well as the results, basically the tracking to the curve post-calibration. As you see these, you'll note they're numbered subwoofer 1 to subwoofer 4. And the way that my convention goes, subwoofer 1 is my front left position, subwoofer 2 is my front right, subwoofer 3 is my back right, and subwoofer 4 is my back left, basically just making a circle from the front left position. What I will note about these curves is that these subwoofers have a smoother response in the room. They punch through a little bit better, I think, overall than the 16s did, where I think the 16s interacted with the room to have a little bit more severe nulls and such. In some cases, I think the overall, aside from the peaks and nulls that I get, which again is less really about the subs and more about the room. I have a very, very hard room for subwoofers. The subwoofers in the front suffer from some very deep mid-bass nulls that are thankfully nullified by having 4 subwoofers and having subwoofers in the back where they're able to compensate over top of those nulls. Looking at some of my charts, looking at some of my plots that I have from the 16s, and adjusting for some of the PEQ and some of the other things that I was doing, I will say that the 17s look that they strike a little bit higher, basically on some of these plots, and they overall, out-of-the-box performance, appear to be a little bit smoother in the room, again, with the subwoofers in similar locations to where the 16s were. I'm happy with that, and I'm happy, as you can see from the results of these plots, how well Arc Genesis seems to be able to adjust the response of the subwoofers to be able to achieve reasonable target curves for each of them. And if you look at them all in unison, one after the other, again, you can really see the benefit of multi-sub configuration, how some subwoofers and sub-locations are stronger, are naturally stronger in covering some frequencies better than subwoofers in the other locations. I'm not going to show any of the existing pictures that I might have been able to grab from former Arc Genesis configurations for the 16s because I don't really have a good apples to apples comparison between the subwoofers. I know a lot of people watching this video are probably going to be interested to know about these 16 versus 17 comparisons and whatnot, but any of the curves that I have in pictures from the 16s included PEQ, and so I don't want to show the result of the measurement of the 17's natural in the room against a in sub PEQ modified pictorial of what the SB16s were doing. But suffice to say, overall, I think I am getting a little bit better of a result from having the 17s here now than the 16s. And I'm happy with that. Absolutely can't argue with better performance out of a newer unit that has better engineering, upgraded design,
and rightfully so, should be the new and better product. So at the end of the day, I'm elated with these things. I think they're absolutely fantastic. I still have way more headroom than I would need. If you look back at my volume settings, you'll notice that I was running most of them at like -8, -9. I may actually even tune up, let them loose a little bit more, tune up some more of the deeper bass boost option in Arc Genesis, let them present even more. But the performance that I'm getting out of these, it's thorough, it's complete, it hits hard, it hits quick, it shakes the chairs. I get the tactile feeling that that many folks comment about in the room here, often asking, do you have transducers? No, I don't have transducers. I'm lucky enough that I'm sitting on a floating hardwood floor, and these subwoofers do work and interact with that. Shake that floor, there's some motion, it transfers to the seats, and it just makes for an awesomely enjoyable experience. So stay tuned as we go forward. If in fact we do see new features to these subwoofers come, like auto equalization and some other things, I'll make the future content about those capabilities. As it is, I definitely I'm happy with the upgrade, and I couldn't recommend them enough. I think it's tremendous performance, and I think it's tremendous performance at a really great value proposition. Now that all said, of course, if you're looking for this or other home theater gear, I am a dealer for a variety of brands, including now SVS, yes. And I know some folks are going to be, well, I can't watch this video, or I don't believe what Jeremy says. He's a dealer for this stuff. Well, for me, I really try to sell the things that I like rather than just liking the things that I sell. So that's my value proposition. That's my honest and true statement. A lot of the things that I offer as a dealer, I have enjoyed, used, and grown in affinity for, in some cases, long periods of time before I actually became a dealer for those products. So if you're interested in this stuff, SVS now as well, reach out to me. Kaleidoscape, JVC, Panamorph, Seymour Screens, Focal, Denon Marantz. You need racks, you need power management equipment, all of that sort of stuff. Reach out, Jeremy at Techthusiasm.net, or go to www.techthusiasm.net. Check out my dealer information, check out my brand's check out my brand listing, and use the contact form that you can find there. Happy to talk, happy to consult, happy to give my advice, and yeah, if I can help you build out, upgrade, and improve the performance of your home theater system, I would love to do it. If you'd like to support me in other ways, hey, there's a bunch of general shopping affiliates down in the description. Amazon, Audio Advice, Crutchfield, Walmart, and more. If you're doing a bunch of general online electronics or other shopping, please go ahead and click through those affiliate links. Always much appreciated. Doesn't cost you anything, but every little bit is impactful and beneficial and allows me to invest back into the channel and the business here. Otherwise, hey, if you would, leave a super thanks, PayPal, Venmo tip, become a channel member. Really appreciate the channel members and welcome folks to come join the channel member community. Otherwise, please do the regular YouTube stuff. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, share the video, leave a comment. What do you think about SVS equipment? Do you have some prior generation SVS subs? Have you upgraded to any of the new stuff like the 17s or even the 5000 series that was also recently announced? What do you think about it? How's it running? Thanks for watching, and come on back for more home theater discussion and fun.